Hey everybody, what is happening? Daily I'm back with some more Madden 16 Ultimate Team content. We're going to give ourselves another little addition to my Raiders, ebook. This is just going to be a scheme out of this. This is from Shotgun 11. Some of the stuff that I put in the book, but we're going to throw some more plays into it, change up a little bit. Also, the formation is Wing Trips Raiders Week WK, and you see right here coming out. This is going to be something that sets up other plays out, but if you've got like Brandon Marshall on the outside, it's either one-on-one out there, and then you one guy make one guy miss. Then you're going to have a lot of big plays. You're going to have some. Not everyone's going to break, obviously, but this is going to set up a lot of things later. Also, if you run all those motions out there, because a couple other plays will have motions built into them, in a sense there. So that one's a good strong one to come out with. It's the high-low dig. You take the RB, you put him on a slant, motion him left, and you take B and you put him on a drag. This one is a real good man beater. Unfortunately, for some reason, the route got knocked off when I first started. I still make the play, but it normally is not close like that. You normally get a real good break, especially the way that slant in that position when he motions it over. That's what that does. So back into the high-low dig here. On this one, basically, I'm just going to take the A receiver, slant him in, and then I'm just going to take B, and I'm going to do a smart route on him. Y out here is what you look for first, then A, and then B. Y, you see me run these. I've been running plays like this already all this season. They're very effective, especially if people are blitzing up the middle, trying to stop the run and stuff like that. You can flip this one, as I will later in the video, but those are real good, three progression read, but a lot of times that first one's going to get it. This is going to be the PA slide, the play action slide. I'm just taking that A, putting him on a streak. Now, you can block Y, you can put him on a wheel here, and you can motion him out and put him on a wheel and motion him. Whatever it is you want to do there. We'll run this one a few times throughout, and you'll see how that one breaks down a little bit better. That one's not as great, but you'll take it basically depends on how the coverage breaks in there. That your reads are going to be whatever they are at that point. Like anything, you don't want to predetermine exactly what you're doing out there. This is the motion pump and go, and this is what again that little screen out to the right will set up. I just take that A right there and we put him on a streak. Down the road, if you need to block Y, you can if you feel blitz is coming, but you're always going to pump. Even if you block, it's always going to pump. We hit there, the catching traffic doesn't hold. We're going to run this again. Watch the seam coming off the A, especially if he runs like a cover two, just a normal cover two defense. That's the type of stuff that just will thrash that. If it's a cover two zone, I should say. So otherwise, you're going to want the other routes coming across, and we'll hit those a few times. So you see that B route. If you have a lot of time, when that B finally breaks over to the left, that one's going to be great. The X route coming around, you're going to catch him in a lot of zones. And that's what I see. That's me just blocking right there. You can just see how everything's breaking down, taking some time. But again, deep out there, you're going to get some big plays out there if you can hit it right, and the blocking holds up for that B receiver on this play. That's motion pump and go. The only thing with that one I will say is if they're blitzing you, that's not a great play because of that forced motion there, for the forced pump motion. Right now here we're going to take out. We do the motion Z spot out there, and which I block Y on that one, and I take RB, motion him left, and then I put B on a drag. We'll hit these a few more again. So again, out there, just catching this one. We do miss the block. Brandon Marshall does miss the block out there, but more times than not, if it comes to that situation, he is going to hold that. He is going to make that happen for you. So come back again out in here and running this again, this post and cross. We'll take Y, we'll block Y, we'll put A on a slant, we'll put B on a drag. And you see the way they break down. A is going to be open a bit, but I like to really just try and hope that that right there, that tight end route, the RB route hits, and it does in that second level pretty well. So you'll have two though in case the guy's chasing. And again, just kicking this one out here, and nice. Again, if you make a guy or two miss, you're going to get a lot of extra yards. But if you've got beefy run blocking wide receivers, like I got Marshall out there, if you got something like that, and Hines Ward, some of these guys out there, or on the cheap, you can get like the Michael Floyd team of the week. This play is going to really, be pretty effective for you. So come back out again on the motion Z spot. You can run that a couple ways, but running one of those in that manner, that's why we have to block the Y, because otherwise you can't motion. So we go back to the motion pump and go, and come off and get A's here. You see him a lot on that seam, which I hit a lot in the last couple years. I really like that, and I kind of didn't have a lot of plays I was going to begin with that. And here's the post and cross again here. So you see this is a simple read. We got both levels there for that, and normally you're going to get this to be pretty effective out there for that secondary route for a decent amount of yards. So I'll come back again. Running this is the high-low dig you can see coming. And this one, again, I say this is the great man beater. And see how that one works out there, splitting out. And that's high-low dig on that one. As we put RB on a slant, motion him left, and B is on a drag. So none of these have too complex of moves. And here's the version of it again in the red zone with that high-low dig. You're just taking A, putting it on a slant, and you're smart routing B, and that's it. And again, you're normally going to catch these to be open a lot, but you have the secondary routes to, if you see somebody sitting in that zone, you definitely can look to the other side. So again, when you're kicking this out, like this play especially, when you're running that one, people will start adjusting and then manually trying to go to that to stop that. And if you get to that point, you're gonna be in pretty well placed. That means you can really start picking them apart. But it's an annoying play to stop. It could be pretty hard at times if you can run that pretty effectively. If you can get that in there, they really have to start watching the swings and playing their coverage for that swing pass that you're running out there. It's definitely going to make them vulnerable for some other things. So just keep an eye on that and try and focus on which one of these are going to be man beaters versus zone beaters and what the plays to call with what they're doing again. So even close to the goal line running this out here, again, with Marshall holding up, you time that right, and then Johnson's very fast, so he's definitely works really good for, in that. And again, with the high-low dig, again, this is the one with one of our man beaters. Once you get off that, so even when he gets pressed out there, he gets bumped, we still get all that space out there. It's a very simple play. It's an easy read, so you have the drag route underneath if you have to have something to fall back to, but you should be able to get off on that one pretty well. A lot of these, as long as you don't overdo it. Here's the run play. This is not a great running formation. It's the only thing with this scheme. You only have one, but it is that inside zone split. You have basically watch your right tackle. If he gets pushed back, you're running inside, cutting inside of him. Otherwise, you're trying to go around it. So it just depends on. That's what I look at for these type of runs or wide traps. I normally look at my tackle and how he sets the play up is really you'll know if you got to cut in, what basically and stuff like that. If you can get looped around, you're always going to be well off in this if you've got good blockers outside though. So again, we'll get one more of these runs. So right there, I probably should have stayed inside. That I read that one wrong. If I would have pushed it in, I would have got a few more yards in there. We'll run, and then I had some of that next one with CJ2K running him using that one, and with the high-low dig out here again. So you just see that RB route time and time again. He gets through a lot of zones and definitely tears up the man. So that one definitely will be useful for you to run in this. Come back across, post and cross, which again was Y block, A slant, and B drag. And you see, you're normally, just depending on how you want to, to time it, you're normally going to get those guys open for the most part, especially during zones. So you just, as long as you hit them in the right spot. Here we go again with the motion Z spot right here. This is just kind of like a standard version of it. And, just every so often you may want to kick that one out just to make him respect that play, even when you're not running the standard one. But you take out here, you can put B on a same play, the motion Z. You can put B on a slant in there, something else to change that up just to give a different look. That would be maybe if you thought he was going to blitz and you got man coverage, that would be a good play to run there, just taking it and slanting it over. But that stuff's optional for you. And again, there with that swing, one guy, that's it. And you're gonna get some play, you're gonna get some yardage out there. So that one's gonna be pretty effective, and it's gonna set up like this play, the motion pump and go. If you start hitting with that one a couple times, that little swing route, the motion pump and go will be pretty effective. The A off the line, and if you can get the jump on him, you can just bomb it over the top. You see at the end of half here. Especially if you've got somebody with a little bit of speed out there, but you watch that through the seam, and even in some of them cover fours and just certain things, you'll be surprised. Just if you get that step behind him and you can time that right, you'll be able to lob it up over the top. So again, here's that inside zone split. This was CJ kicking it out. You see, and you get good blocking, a big hole with the blocking holds up. So, and again, I normally run this in practice mode to show it, but I figured I might as well get some solo time out of it. I can always get some of that stuff done for myself. So I'm gonna get some gameplay of this coming up soon. Also, obviously, I'll get that out, in the next, at least by tomorrow. But I ran some of these plays in the previous, and there we go, we just get tripped up. But if I had hurdled that, big chunk also. I ran some of these plays in the actual previous gameplay video. You'll see some of them in there. And if we're going to go to a four verts, might as well. This is everyone's favorite play. And all we're going to do on the four verts is take the B out there, and we're just going to put him on the slant. You see that'll time up. So you're basically going to be looking for that A and watch it over. You'll see one of those guys breaking through a zone normally. So if you need be, this is always it's fairly effective. And and that wide receiver, your running back, especially if you got like CJ, someone with a lot of speed, if he gets matched up on a linebacker and he makes that turn right there, you're gonna, you're definitely gonna be out on your own. So then it's just you in the open field, see if you can make a play or not. So again, with that one, all I'm doing is taking B and putting him on a slant. So it's a pretty easy call. But you've got, even on the blitz there, you've got a decent amount of plays to check through. Then I'm giving you some of the repetition of it, but you can see how over and over it is. So it should be a pretty good scheme, I think, to run against some people. Again, it's not a heavy run scheme by any means. You do have a draw. There's another counter in there. The counter sucks, though. Most of them do. Here's the HB pump and go. This one, if you have a lot of time, let that B route come across. And that one's very effective on that one. So, again, all you're doing is taking the A there and putting it on a streak. If you want, you can block the running back. That just depends on how you want to do it. But I like to leave him out there just to kind of mess with the user defender. We want that user to really be concerned about that running back on that motion. That's big part of this scheme here is running that little sweep, that little screen out there to the outside. Run that 4 or 5 times a game, just sprinkling it in there. And then once you think he's going to be sucked into that, you start rolling maybe that motion pump and go over the top of him or something of that nature. Motion Z spot perhaps, something like that. And